This is Partners in Crime with Adam Croft and Robert Daws.
Hello. Welcome. Partners in Crime, episode 158.
Marvellous. Hello, everyone.
Hello. You're very loud today.
I am. I'm very loud every day.
Booming. Is that because of your new mattress?
Try living with me.
You came in with a spring in your step. You got a new mattress, Bob.
I have got a new mattress. I can't believe it. We've only had the other one for about 17 years. It had a life of its own, actually. It walked out of the house. It was so ready to get away from us.
So infested.
It's so infested. But it was one of those things that, it was just perfect. Over the years, that mattress, and we'd become one with it, really. But anyway, we've got a brand new one, and a splendid one. It's called an Emma. We didn't buy it as a tribute to my sister-in-law, Emma Robbins, but it's fantastic. It's lovely. I feel like a new man. Where are you going to find one at this time of day? So I
can't deal with this much energy. Can you go and get your old mattress back, please?
I'll go. Yeah. Oh, yes. Well, I've been waking up the last couple of days feeling quite sprightly, which is a sensation that I haven't felt for several years.
This is a 9 a.m. start as well for you, Bob. This is an early one. You don't tend to do early starts. For you to come in this lively.
This is the middle of the night, as far as I'm
That's
concerned.
a great advert for that mattress. You should go have a word with your agent. You should do the ads.
Emma mattresses for the perfect night. Sleep. Wow. There we are.
Wow. The energy is just unbelievable. I'm not going to be able to match that.
Yes, you are.
I'm afraid. No,
yes, you are.
Not
You've got a new footstool. Listeners can't see what I can see. Is it because you've got short legs?
It's because I've got short legs, yeah.
They're not particularly short, but it's called the hog.
It is. It's not a new thing. It's my wife's. She had it when she was pregnant.
Does it massage? It's got bobbles on it. Does it massage the soles of your feet?
Probably not.
Yeah,
not particularly pleasantly.
Listeners may not realise that my learned colleague here is a sort of a bit of a sandy shore. That's for people of a certain age. He tends to pad around his own home without shoes or socks. Or stockings.
Or underwear.
I haven't looked that closely, thank goodness. So anyway, there we are. So you're up to date with the studio. Look, it's all looking very neat and tidy in the studio.
Well, we've got cameras on now, haven't we?
Have we got cameras? Are they on?
Yeah.
Are they actually on?
Yeah, they are on, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
so
I've put the monitor on the other screen here so you don't sit there looking at yourself.
I see. I don't look.
You look down the camera.
Oh, I see. Do I look down the camera?
Look down the camera. Your camera's here, look. There you go.
Look at that. Hi. I should know about camera angles at my age, shouldn't I, really? But there we are.
But you're used to ignoring the cameras.
Well, yes.
And working around them, pretending they're not there.
That's absolutely correct. Well, the thing is, from an acting point of view, there are different schools of thought. I can remember I was working with a young director. He says, with a certain amount of condescension, a very talented one, and I came on set, and I sort of went, well, where are we here? I said, so what's the shot? And he said, don't you worry about the shot. I went, you cheeky bastard. I do. I mean, he apologised, he had to say. But, yeah, certain directors,
Didn't he know who you were?
Well, do you know what? No.
That doesn't surprise me.
I was covered in a wig.
Is this pole dance? Do you know what? I won't ask because that will, yeah.
Yes, he did know who I was. He would have, if he'd had known who I was, he would have been far ruder, I'm sure. But there you are. Now, I like to know what's going on. I like to know what the shot is, where it is, and things like that, because there's different actors.
Give me your best side.
But I haven't got a best side. I offer my least good side.
Yeah, you can keep your worst side away.
Yes, exactly.
Yes.
Right. So anyway, over to you.
Well,
we've got a snap coming up. I can see that.
A snap.
Yes.
Ah, right. Oh, yes, we have got a snap.
We have.
We'll get onto that in just a few moments, I think. I was going to talk about weather, because we tend to do that, and snowfall this morning in Bedfordshire.
Yes. Baby, it's cold outside, and white.
It's not settling, thankfully.
It's not settling, but anything's possible.
Yeah.
It won't settle. I mean, I've looked at the weather forecast, and it's just passing us by. This is supposed to be rain, but it's obviously...
But it is cold rain.
hit the Amptill and Flitting area, and it's decided to turn into a Christmas scene.
Well, I would rather it didn't, frankly.
Yes,
There we go.
same here, but it's quite exciting. We got quite excited when it started to snow. When you've got children in the house, as you have, I mean, if your eldest was here, he'd be incredibly excited, would he not, looking out the window and saying, Daddy, Daddy, look, snow.
Well, it started before he went to school.
Oh, right.
Just before he went to school, so he did see it, and
He was excited. Well, I was excited. I'm a little older than than James, of course, but I still get excited by the sight of snow.
Do you?
Yes, I do.
Good.
Anyway, crime, mystery,
Yes, our
murder.
snap that we were going to talk about is that we've both been sent, as we mentioned on last week's show, copies of, well, it's actually a sheet of paper we're holding up, so you might be a bit confused if you're watching on video, of Mr. Graham Bartlett's new book, first book, debut novel. If you don't know who Graham is, he's a former Chief Superintendent of Brighton and Hove Police, an advisor to some of the world's best-selling crime authors, plus me and Bob.
Yes, he certainly
Bob
is.
and I. No, me and Bob.
And
Yes.
he's such a nice chap. He's one of the nicest chaps you
He
like.
is, and very, very helpful. He's what I like about Graham is that rather than saying, look, this is how the police procedure works, make your story work around that, he will always say, what do you need to happen? There will always be a way that it can work. It might be an administrative balls up, it might be funding, or it could be some way that they can make the procedure fit the story.
It sounds as though they need him in 10 Downing Street.
Oh, yeah. They've been using him on lots of TV recently, haven't they?
Oh, they certainly have. Well, I mean,
Saw his name crop up on The Girl Before, which I was watching recently.
yes, of course he was on that. I mean, yes. So he's in the land of television and film consultancy, a bit like R.C. Bridgestock, our dear friends, who
Good old R.C.
are great too. But I mean, this is quite frankly. I mean, I'm not going to review the book because this is the early stages. We just wanted to flag it up as an exciting thing.
Do you know what? I've got the book. I've got it. Here it is on.
If you're watching on two, no. I just left mine at home.
Well, there you go. If
you
you're watching on
leave yours at
video,
home?
this might look a little bit weird. These are proof copies that you get. You have left mine at home as well, actually. These are proof copies that you get from publishers. It's not the final cover on it. You can see the final cover on this sheet of paper here. Yes, I don't know why. They've clearly got the cover there and designed, but for some reason they send out these...
Well, I think they're ordered. I mean, this is obviously an incredibly well organised campaign by Graham's publishers, care of Helen Richardson PR, in this particular thing. But this is very much... I mean, it's a very good cover, isn't it? No surprises there. I mean, we first met Graham in relation to Peter James, because he was started as a friend and advisor to Peter and his books, and we all know how Peter is... very particular and brilliant at getting his research absolutely spot on. And Graham was one of his advisors. And I can honestly say the name of the book, for those who don't know...
Should have done that, shouldn't we?
We should have done, is Bad for Good. And it's got some reviews already by people who've read it. Ellie Griffith says it's the real deal. Peter James says it's masterly. Mark Billings says a cracking debut.
Adam Croft says they should have put the real cover on.
But I can honestly say this is, I think, Graham's first venture into fiction writing. He's written with Peter James true life stories.
Death Comes Knocking.
Yeah, which are absolutely fantastic and full of the most extraordinary detail and knowledge, which, of course, Graham brings with him. So this is very much the book that was at one point going to be written. For years, I've had conversations with him. So, are you going to do this? He said, yes. I'd like to. I really got an idea, and he's finally done it. And as I say, I've not read it yet. I'm about to read it, and by the sounds of it, it's absolutely brilliant, and there's absolutely no reason why it wouldn't be written by Graham Bartlett. So, Bad for Good sounds absolutely great. So, why don't you order it early doors?
Shall I read the blurb?
Yes, read the blurb.
Just read it off the back, because that's what we do, isn't it? It's easier than doing some work.
Well, you've got front and back here, which is great.
Yeah. Well, it says here, the tagline is, how far would you go? The murder of a promising footballer, and crucially, the son of Brighton's chief superintendent, means Detective Superintendent Joe Howe has a complicated and sensitive case on her hands. The situation becomes yet more desperate following devastating blackmail threats. Howe can trust no one as she tracks the brutal killer in a city balanced on a knife edge of vigilante action and a police force riven with Corruption. That is out on the 23rd of June. I'm hoping to get to read it much sooner than that, but if not, I do have a little holiday at the end of May, when I should be able to at least have read it by then. But you know what, I might read it again on a beach somewhere.
I'm going to...
I can show off my my proof copy here, can't I? I go, look, yeah, it hasn't got the proper cover on. That's because I'm special. I get sent these.
Well, I haven't got any holidays planned, being... well, too much on, really. But I plan.
No one will employ me, so I might as well go away.
This is going to be one of the first books I read in my new Emma bed for a perfect night's sleep. Ooh. So, but I'm sure this will keep me awake for many an hour. Anyway, there we are. That's the press release we've been sent, and we're very happy to have received it. And there's a nice picture of Graham on the back. Very handsome chap he is too. And we wish him all the very best with that, and we are looking forward to reading it.
We are indeed. I have been reading another book recently, actually. Another one that I was very kindly sent. We do get sent occasionally, books and things from publicists. And
it's not all bills, is it?
It's not all bills. No, you do get sent some things. And they say, do you want to read this and maybe offer a blurb or a comment? And most of the time, you kind of have to say, that sounds wonderful, but I just don't have the time at the moment, because you'd spend all your time reading and then some and not getting your work done, unfortunately.
Yes.
But very occasionally I look at one and I go, yes, that sounds good. I like Graham's one. And also...
rather archy. I couldn't see the face necessarily that Adam was pulling when he went, yes.
Well, they can, yes. My camera's on.
Oh, your camera's on? Well,
I should have moisturised.
People who get to see the pictures on this will actually fully appreciate that sort of rather arch response to reading a book that actually basically catches your fancy. Carry on, please.
Well, this one it was mentioned to me. It's a debut.
A debut.
And it's called The Game by Scott Kershaw. It says here, across the globe, 5 strangers receive a horrifying message from an unknown number. The person you love most is in danger. To save them, each must play the game. A sinister, unknown entity that has a single rule. There can only be one winner. If you lose, your loved one will die. But what is the game, and why have they been chosen? There's only one thing each of them knows for sure. They'll do anything to win. Welcome to the game. You've just started playing. It's very, very interesting, high-concept thriller.
Yeah.
Which I thought, do you know what? I think I fancy having a read of that. I started reading it. I love the way it's structured. It's got, you go from player 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, each chapter, and then it starts again. Then you follow, essentially going round players 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 as they hit each stage of this journey. What I found particularly intriguing, actually, is one of them. Was it player 5, I think? She lives in Bedfordshire. Works at Luton Airport as a police officer.
Someone's got to. Oh, does she? As a police officer?
Quite interesting.
Oh, well, I hope we see her sometime this year. Well, I mean, in a nice capacity, not.
Well, she's fictional, so probably not.
Oh, I see. Oh, gosh, that's a catch up, Daws. Catch up, for goodness' sake.
Yeah, it's the first time I've ever seen my own county mentioned in fiction.
Well, you're too busy writing about counties right next door to us.
Well,
pretty much.
Not too far away. But I'm really enjoying that. I'm probably about halfway through at the moment, so I can't say too much, but loving the book. More than happy enough to recommend that thus far. That's The Game by Scott Kershaw. And if you just don't mind a few minutes silence, a few seconds silence, I'll try and find out when that's available.
All right.
Which will be lovely. 17th of March. So not too long left. Might as well go and get a copy now.
Oh, that's perfectly good.
It cuts you now, Bob, and embarrass you for being on your phone.
No, well, this is research.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Okay. Would you like me to carry on?
No, I was trying to find something, and I can't seem to find it anywhere at all. So yes, carry on momentarily while I actually catch up.
Okay, I'll carry on momentarily. There's a bit of news. Actually, no, I'm not going to do the news. I'm going to do mentions to listeners. Should probably talk about you guys, shouldn't I? Hello to our new patrons this week, to Melinda Glover and Christina Mende, who have joined our Patreon programme. More on that very, very soon. And in the mailbag this week, I found Genevieve Scholl again, who got in touch last week. Yeah, she's been in touch again. She says...
Good old Genevieve.
She says, hello again, boys. I'm sorry for sending...
Hello, Genevieve.
Hello. I'm sorry for sending 2 emails so close together, but I was listening to episode 149 with Adrian Hobart, and I wanted to, I think that's probably when you were nobbing about filming with Liz Hurley or something, and I wanted to add to the conversation about plotting versus pantsing. Not that one is better than the other, because every writer is different, but one thing Adam said stuck with me. I'd love to be able to pants it, he said. I don't recall that, but I'll take your word for it.
Pants it?
Yeah, plotting and pantsing. I mean, I think Bob probably knows what we're talking about, but essentially for anybody who's not a writer, you're either plotting a book, you're planning ahead and knowing what you're going to do with it and where you're going to go, or you're pantsing, where you start and you just write chapter 1 and you have a blank page, which frightens the life out of me. I'd love to be able to do, but I write myself into too many holes, so I do plan. She says, Adam, I'd love to be able to plot. I've tried in the past and cannot imagine how authors do it. Knowing everything in advance causes me more stress than just flying by the seat of my pants. Plus, it makes writing to me less fun. I'm in awe of plotters like you and wish you could share your secret. Do you know what? It's not less fun at all. Because, yeah, you're finding out how your story's going as you're writing it. I'm finding out how my story's going as I'm planning it. I'm just essentially,
making it up as you go along.
Kind of, but in a shorthand version, rather than doing a long 100,000 word book and just hoping it works out. I will do a very short treatment of a couple of thousand words.
Yeah.
And I am still pantsing that essentially. But if I need to go back and change something to make it work, I only have to change something very small rather than something very big. And also, the way I always liken it is when I plot a book, I'm not hemming myself into that. I'm not penning myself into having to run with that exactly as it is. The way I always liken it when I'm plotting a book and when I start is my plan is like setting a sat-nav on your phone or your car right at the start of a long journey. So you know you're going from A to B,
yes.
You're going from blank page to finished book, and this is the route you're planning to take. That looks like the best route at the time. You might hit some traffic on the way. There might be some unexpected roadworks and your sat-nav will divert you around a different way. Or you might decide, actually, I'm getting there too soon. I'll take a more scenic route on the way. And your sat-nav will adjust and you'll still get to point B, but you might have taken a slightly different route to where you were. You might come back on a couple of junctions further up. And that is how I like my little allegories and things.
Well, that's very nice. I can hear it now. You are currently on the best route to murder the vicar in the library.
And you may
Estimated time of arrival, 13 minutes.
When you're writing it, something better may well occur to you. In which case, let yourself do that, Genevieve, and then just readjust your plan accordingly. That's what I would suggest.
That's sage advice from someone who knows his onions.
She also says, and I'm going to read this bit out. Why wouldn't I? She says, congratulations on your amazing career. Thank you very much. She says, I'm currently listening to the audiobook of Night in Culverhouse box set and loving it. Also reading the Rock Crime series box sets. Don't know who writes those.
I haven't got a clue, but good luck with them, Genevieve.
She says, between those and your podcast, I find myself lost in the world of crime and ignoring my responsibilities. But what's life without a little procrastination, eh?
That's what we want, entertainment, to take you somewhere else, away from the stresses and strains of everyday life.
Yeah, absolutely.
I noticed you've got. This is all planned out. You've got a program.
Got a run sheet, yeah.
A running sheet. How fantastic is that?
I have, and I'm going to read off it again because I mentioned Patreon a couple of times.
Yes.
And if you are a Partners in Crime patron, you'll be watching this, not just listening to it, and you get all sorts of other guff as well. You get access to every episode of Partners in Crime in full HD video. You get an extra bonus episode each week. Partners in Crime, Arsenic and Old Lace. You get that shout out on the show in the week you join, like Melinda and Christina did earlier. Access to exclusive content, all sorts of stuff, including a free book every single month, courtesy of our wonderful sponsors, Kobo. We'd love for you to be our next patron, so follow the link in the show notes or go to patreon.com/Partners in Crime podcast. The free book of the month for February from Kobo is Calculated Sabotage by K.T. Lee. I'll read the stuff at the back, shall I?
Yes.
CIA Operations Officer Quinn King will do whatever it takes to find the person who killed her partner. She follows the evidence to Innovative Rocket Technologies, a startup company and current darling of the rocket world. Their most recent launch, however, ended in an explosion that Quinn believes is connected to her partner's death. The CIA sends Cam Mitchell to provide backup for Quinn and make sure she isn't too emotionally invested. With Cam watching her back, Quinn embeds herself at IRT. She soon discovers there's more to the failed launch than IRT has shared with the public, and someone has a vested interest in keeping that information under wraps. When the CIA finds new evidence that someone's actively sabotaging the next launch, they call in Parker, Ree and Mike from the FBI to help manage a growing number of loose ends. However, once Cam and Quinn realise why the rocket is being sabotaged, it puts them right in the crosshairs of a killer. Ooh. That is Calculated Sabotage by K.T. Lee, usually $3.99 on ebook, but it's yours absolutely free if you're a Partners in Crime patron, so that'll be in your dashboard now. And not only that, but because we only had one episode in January, we have extended the period in which you can claim January's free book of the month. That's Storm Deaths by Steve Orme. So if you're a Partners in Crime patron, log into your dashboard now. Make sure you have claimed that. That's available until the 14th of February. So if you join as a Partners in Crime patron today, you get 2 free books in your first month. How about that?
We come bearing gifts.
So have a look in the show notes for that link there and become our latest patron. That would be very lovely to have you on board. Your turn, Bob.
The man of 1,000 voices. Yeah, well, I've got so many things to talk about, but I thought I'd mention straight off the bat something I was watching last night and thoroughly enjoying, with the most bizarre title of any television drama that I've seen in a long time. It's called The Woman in the House Across the Street from the Girl in the Window. I think we can safely say that it's taking the mickey out of a particular genre, be it Girls on Trains.
That's on my list on Netflix. It does look very good.
Or The Girls Before, or Rear Window, or whatever. But I'm not going to go into that in any great detail, apart from because I haven't finished watching it yet, but it's very, very good. It stars the marvellous Kristen Bell, who some will know if you've seen the very funny and entertaining The Other Place, the American comedy, and this is a great conceit as well. Kristen Bell, a woman who takes a break from her painting career to mourn the death of her 8-year-old, where is it now? That's it. Yes.
Always prepared, aren't we?
Always prepared. Well, it's got 8 episodes. I knew there was an 8 in it somewhere. Here it is. And she drinks. And I have to say, that's one thing. Don't watch this if you're trying to have a dry. If you've had a dry January and decided to continue having a dry February, because she drinks red wine in a really very comic and alarming manner. But yes, she's looking out of the window, and she has a next door neighbour turns up with his daughter, and things start to spin out of control, and we're not sure whether it's all in her imagination or whether she has been manipulated. Murder is most likely involved, so it's very good. Its tongue is firmly in its cheek, and it's great fun. So anyway, I wasn't going to go into that, but watch it. It's out there now, and very, very, very good indeed. The other
what's it called again, Bob?
It's called The Woman Who Sits by the Window, knitting in slippers, looking like Mrs. Brown on a bad day, looking out the window and seeing Jimmy Stewart with a pair of and Grace Kelly with a pair of binoculars looking straight back at her.
It's called The Woman in the House Across the Street from the Girl in the Window.
That's what I just said.
It says here, mixing wine, pills, casseroles and an overactive imagination, Anna obsesses over a hunky neighbour across the street and witnesses a murder. Or did she? Basically a P-take of the psychological thriller genre.
Yes, and long overdue it is.
Yes.
We love that genre very much indeed. So this is the one I'm going to talk about. Last week we had a look at our real crime slot. I don't know why I did that. I reviewed The Puppet Master on Netflix, which was about Britain's most famous con man, a 3-parter, which is absolutely extraordinary, telling the story of a con man who worked the most extraordinary cons, managed to persuade people to do the most extraordinary thing, be on the run from their own family and authorities for 10 years, all based on a lie. I mean, quite extraordinary. So I won't go into that because hopefully you'll be watching it, The Puppet Master. And I mention these, as I always say, because they are great inspiration for writers of crime who look at these real life, true life crime series and take out bits and pieces and sometimes maybe an entire story. But swift on the back of The Puppet Master is another Netflix documentary series. When I first saw it, I thought, hello, this is probably the poor relation to the Puppet Master. But it's not. It's very much a companion piece, and it's called The Tinder Swindler. Now, Tinder is...
Tinder user, Bob?
No. No, great surprise.
More of a grinder man?
No. And so, yeah, I thought this is interesting. I know lots of friends who are on Tinder, and they seem to sort of have a fairly good time. But here it is. I'll just give you an idea.
You should do the advert for that as well.
Yes. Tinder. Have a really good time. Yes. Swipe right. Is it swipe right or left? I don't know.
Yeah, they should have that as a sound effect every time you do.
Yes. Whatever you do, left or right, don't forget to swipe. Okay, so this is called the Tinder Swindler. Swindler. Come on, Daws. Pull yourself together. And this is a quick review by Lauren Crank. What a great name. Crank with a K. For Esquire magazine, which caught my eye. On their first date back in January 2018, Simon Liviev took Cecilia Gerhoy on a private plane from London to Bulgaria just for a night. They had met on Tinder, and after a coffee date at his hotel, he'd expressed regret that he had to leave for a business trip, but maybe she'd like to join him. She Googled her date. He was the son of the King of Diamonds, Lev Liviev, famed Russian-Israeli diamond oligarch. She quickly went home and packed a bag while his driver waited. It was the beginning of a whirlwind relationship that would ultimately leave her heartbroken, deceived, and more than $200,000 in debt. Netflix's latest true crime documentary, The Tinder Swindler, allows Cecilia, along with Pernilla Joholm, I can't even pronounce that, sorry, all listeners in Sweden, and Aline Charlotte, just three of the many victims of Simon Leviev, to tell their stories, and what stories they are. It is mind-boggling what this particular gentleman managed to get away with over the years, the amount of money he managed to con out of his victims, and leads us on a story every bit as extraordinary as The Puppet Master. And again, is another very well-made documentary with the victims very much in control at this stage, retelling their story of how they survived the manipulations of this criminal. Anyway, it's well worth a look. If you haven't seen The Puppet Master, watch that first, or watch The Tinder Swindler second. It will make you think twice about going on Tinder, I guess, or it might make you rush to actually get on Tinder if you're not already on it. I don't know, but it's a fascinating story. It's a whirlwind story. It delves into, I guess, to some degree, how gullible people can be when they fall in love, how vulnerable, I think is probably a more sensitive way of putting it, when people feel that they've fallen in love and are willing to give everything to a relationship, and inadvertently find that they have given everything financially, that is, and are left bereft. Anyway, there we are, The Tinder Swindler. Very, very good indeed. Netflix.
Well, at this point in time, I should probably mention, because we're getting to the end of the show and I haven't done yet, that Partners in Crime is gratefully sponsored by Kobo, one of the world's largest ebook retailers. And as a listener to Partners in Crime, you can get a massive 90% off of your first ebook purchase from them. You don't need an e-reader or any special device, although they're very, very good, and I would highly recommend it, because they will thank us and love us and sponsor us next year as well. You can even read on your phone or tablet if you wish. And if you've used your crime promo code to get 90% off, then you can follow the link in the show notes, and you can get 40% off of selected titles for life using promo code PARTNERS. Again, all that nonsense is in the show notes. Bob, we are almost there. I finished watching The Tourist within the last week, watched the last episode of that.
And what conclusions did you come to?
I came to the conclusion that it was quite obvious to me in which order they wrote the script, and that they came up with the idea at the beginning and thought, where should we run with this, and had some ends to tie up, which I think they did relatively successfully.
Yes.
But yes, it wasn't ending first or twist first, was it? It was, they started with the concept
yes.
that they marketed, and then kind of ran to to complete it from there, I think.
Yes.
But, not unsuccessfully.
Not unsuccessfully at all. I mean, it's a sound entertainment.
Yes.
Put it down to, and you may forgive the occasional
Sound entertainment, that's what we
slip
are.
between plausibility and possibility in the name of entertainment. But other than that, it was very well done. I thought Jamie, what's his face, was very good.
Dornan. Jamie, what's his face? Your good friend, Jamie Dornan.
Yeah. Have you seen the new movie? It's got Jamie, what's his face in it? It's in Belfast. He's playing the lead in that, isn't he?
Yeah.
With Kieran Hines as well. So he's a very busy man. Is that Jamie? What's his face?
Yeah. Jamie Dornan.
Jamie Dornan. Apologies if you're listening, which I'm sure you are.
He's highly unlikely, I'll be honest with you.
You never know.
You never know. But I was going to say something else that's completely jumped my mind now.
Well, interesting you say get your Kobo deals if you
get those.
Enjoy reading your crime fiction. And this is straight out of left field, just maybe to draw things to a conclusion, nothing to do with crime at all. But there's a very affecting documentary on the BBC with Jay Blades. People will know Jay from his repair shop success, fascinating series where people go to the Weald Downland Museum in West Sussex to an old barn where lots of craftspeople are gathered to help people restore beloved items that have been left in attics a little bit too long, perhaps. And a very brave documentary about him learning to read. At his age of 51, he's never been able to read. He's become hugely successful in what he does.
That's just an excuse he gave you when you tried to give him one of your books, I think, Bob.
Yeah, it's an oft-used one. I'm sorry, no, I can't read. Bob. But it's just a fascinating documentary, well worth watching to see him and working on, reading. And he's very brave. He's out there, very honest, and he's decides he's got to learn to read because he wants to read his now nearly adult, 16-year-old daughter a bedtime story. And it's very moving, well worth watching, and so catch that if you can. Nothing to do with crime, thank goodness. Just an uplifting, heartwarming documentary on BBC iPlayer.
Yeah, we don't just do crime all the time, do we?
No, we're big softies.
Yeah, we like to keep things interesting and mix things up. Right, we're going to go and record Partners in Crime, Arsenic and Old Lace, our after-show show for our special Patreon people.
Everyone who listens to this show is special. All listeners are equal, but some are more equal than others.
Partners in Crime was presented by Adam Croft and Robert Daws and produced by Adam Croft. The theme tune was by the Caesareans. The Partners in Crime logo and imagery were designed by Stuart Beisch. Partners in Crime is sponsored by Kobo, your favourite local bookshop, perfected.